Acting on set with the cast and crew isn't just all work and no play for the actors. While they may be under a lot of pressure because of the demanding job, they take out some time to mingle with one another, though Kate Winslet did have a little bit of a hard time interacting with her younger co-stars. But why was that so? In this video, let's find out which word got Kate into trouble. First up, which word cost Kate Winslet the most money? Kate Winslet and James Cameron reunited 25 years after Titanic to work together once again on Avatar: The Way of Water. In the eagerly anticipated sequel, the Resources Development Administration has returned to Pandora, and they're not simply after unobtainium this time. In fact, the RDA is looking to settle over the entire moon and colonize it. But Jake Sully, played by Sam Worthington, is standing in their path. Forced to make a hard choice, Jake determined it was better for the Sully family to leave the woodlands of the Omaticaya clan after he learned that the RDA and a recombinant, Colonel Miles Quantic, played by Stephen Lang, have especially targeted him. He travels to the Metkayina clan's seas, and that's where his family comes across Winslet's character, Ronal. Tonawari, who's played by Cliff Curtis, and Ronal are the Metkayina's leaders, of whom the first is somewhat more receptive to preserving the Na'vi custom of providing a safe harbor to any refugee seeking safety, but Ronal is far less willing to accept the Sullys and have them endanger her people. Kate's time on set was intense and hard, but not entirely devoid of all fun. A swear jar was established by some of Winslet's young co-stars, one of whom was Trinity Jo Lee Bliss, who was only 7 years old when production began. If you made a mistake and swore, the actor would have to put money in the jar. According to the actress, it was the F word that got her into the most trouble. Trinity would catch her at every point, and Winslet lost a lot of money during the shoot. Coming up, what did Kate have to say about her character in the sequel? But what was causing Ronal to be so resistant to taking in outsiders? Well, for one, there could be no denying the idea that Ronal was unquestionably the matriarch of the people. She was the clan's leader, and Winslet believed that she would do whatever was necessary to preserve that position and everything they had built. Ronal and Tonawari sincerely care about the Metkayina clan, as well as the rest of the village, community, and family, so Kate believed that as a mother, she would just naturally feel extremely suspicious of the thought that anything from the outside could pose some kind of threat. Ronal cherishes her small tribe and her family is dear to her. Kate felt it was very important for her to portray this side of the character, and thankfully, Curtis was the perfect co-star to portray the Olo Ektan of the Metkayina clan. She expressed that he was wonderful, and both of them understood their roles well because they both were very protective of their own families as well. According to Winslet, Curtis was a family man with a sense of community thanks to his Maori heritage. She was able to see that the actor was both consciously and subconsciously able to bring his own beliefs into this role. Tonawari is such a powerful figure, and while Cliff is very warm, inclusive, and kind, he was powerful too. Following up, how did Winslet feel about her motion capture experience? One of the biggest pieces of conversation from the sequel has been all about the underwater motion capture experience. Winslet felt that motion capture is in many respects almost the purest form of acting, though people would not truly think so since viewers wouldn't see them as real people. Instead, they'd be perceived as the blue aliens they see on screen. But cameras are positioned all around the cast to record each action and movement. Nothing can be concealed because the actors are also wearing a helmet with a camera that records every facial movement. Even their eyeballs are being recorded. So at the end of the day, it was no different for Winslet than her usual job. Like always, they would have to do their best because their facial muscles would be replicated in their Na'vi versions. So it was just as hard as any other project, but Winslet really enjoyed it. Moving on, James Cameron let the cast know what had happened between the movies. The Omaticaya clan is currently being led by Sam Worthington's Jake Sully and Zoe Saldana's Neytiri, who have spent the years after the events of the first movie rebuilding their house and expanding their family. But this isn't something viewers will be able to see in the movie. You see, the script that was originally planned by Cameron was scrapped in favor of The Way of Water. That first draft focused on events after the war we saw in 2009, and while that version of events won't make it to the screen, the director still put it to good use. Worthington explained in their interview with Collider that Cameron gave him an Avatar 1.5 script that detailed what transpired between these first two movies. The star was mesmerized by the script that simply existed to let Worthington know what Jake had been up to. Up next, could the actors reveal any specifics from Avatar 1.5? For one thing, Cameron's script was wonderful according to Worthington. He questioned the director why he wasn't filming this story, but the director told him to read it to prepare for the role. Even Saldana read the script and agreed that it was amazing, though she never returned it to the rightful owner and just kept a hold of it. While they couldn't give away much about the script, Worthington revealed that at the end of the first movie, Jake and Neytiri's relationship was evolving, and so the script focused on how their relationship progressed. Plus, according to Saldana, the war continued as well, and their family was growing as well. The script gave the stars a good idea of what the family had been up to. Though the actor felt that the director was crazy to have written the script, he was also clearly impressed with Cameron's dedication to the story. Following up, how can fans learn more about Avatar 1.5? Have we got some great news for you? While we're not sure of the contents of the script for Avatar 1.5, Cameron hasn't left fans completely in the dark. Cameron told Total Film that he and some writers were playing around and there were numerous suggestions, but it never quite fit into the boxes, and so the director decided to simply finish it and then check to see whether it would make a good movie at a particular point. He finished it and everyone agreed that it was a terrific story and made for an incredible read, but Cameron didn't feel that the movie had it in it to beat Avatar, nor did he think a studio would spend millions of dollars to produce it, so the 130-page draft was instead restructured into Avatar: The High Ground. Cameron explained that the story of this graphic novel takes place between minute 4 and minute 5 of the sequel, so while you won't know what happened over the past 10 years, it's still a good start. Coming up, how did Worthington and Saldana feel about working with Cameron? It was known that James Cameron was more emotionally available for the entire team while filming the Avatar sequel. So, did the actors feel that presence on set? The answer was a resounding yes. Both actors stated that he was the best actor's director. Saldana explained that the second time around, there was a sense of family that she believed was a logical continuation of what had begun in 2006 and 2007. According to her, Jim is like a fine wine and simply got better with time. Plus, he's got more energy than anybody they've ever known. There was, in Saldana's opinion, a lot of pressure to demonstrate this idea back in 2006. Cameron had created the story out of thin air and was unable to keep it to himself. At the time, it was challenging for all of them to try and comprehend his point of view. But gradually, things have gotten better, and that's because he continued working with the actors and outlined every step of the process for them to see. This allowed them to see what he was picturing. So by the time they made it to the film Avatar: The Way of Water, the cast wasn't pressured. They were familiar with his vision. They all had to follow their hearts, and everybody was just itching to get started. Finally, how did the cast deal with Cameron's critique? But that wasn't all. Sure, all the hard work eventually felt very rewarding. There were still some issues along the way. According to one source, James Cameron was very open with his critiques. So if he saw a problem, he would tell the actor what was wrong right to his face. According to rumors, at one point an argument broke out during a scene between Cameron and Worthington that forced the actor to meditate. As always, the rumors were exaggerated. Worthington clarified that while there were some issues with communication because the cast was always underwater, it never became as big a deal as it sounded. The actor added that while the director was always advising some kind, much of it got confusing. So a few of them had issues translating what Cameron expected from them when they were shooting, and that's where most of their problems lay. The great part about dealing with someone like Jim, as per Saldana, was that he anticipated that the actors were passionate about what they did. So that resulted in impassioned discussions because everyone arrived with a highly selfless attitude. Nothing stayed with them once Cameron announced that the day had wrapped. Nothing ever became personal, even though actors had a strong sense of who their character was, and sometimes that clashed with what Cameron felt. But in the end, Saldana and the cast know that he's the boss. At the end of the day, many of these experiences and conversations only helped improve the movie. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think the swear jar helped Kate Winslet swear less than before? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.
Navi.
Naughty.
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 Navi.